Yakaisit Gausan, Wasa Iati. We'll wait here a few minutes here to see if we have any people coming in at the last second. My name is Justin Jones. I'm with the American Indian Cancer Foundation, and we'll be doing a webinar on Latseen, Everyday Strength. So we'll wait about a minute or two to see if anyone else shows up, and we'll get started. Like I said, my name is Justin Jones with the American Indian Cancer Foundation. This is a part of our Celebrate Indigenous Life webinar series. So this is our last Tuesday webinar. So we're going to be looking on getting moving. So today we're going to be doing some stretching, and then at the end we'll be doing some Alaska Native Youth Olympic event demonstrations. And so again, with the American Indian Cancer Foundation, with the Latseen Everyday Strength, and we're in partnership with the Juneau Native Youth Olympics team, and we'll be meeting them at the end of our webinar today. Before I get too far along, I just want to take a moment to remember my relatives that have gone before me because of cancer. And here we are sending strength to Nancy Douglas, Ed Young, Sandra Cronick, and Leslie Ambrose, cancer survivors themselves. So if you all want to just take a moment yourselves to really think about who we're dedicating everything to today and why we do the work that we are doing. And I'm realizing we all had the seals there. So let me, technology, always fun. Here we go. So there's the memory list. Just really acknowledging those that have come before me, the relatives that are overlooking everyone today. And then saying strength to Nancy Douglas, Ed Young, Sandra Cronick, Leslie Ambrose. Sorry for the technical glitches, figuring everything out today. So Yakei Sitkosan, Gunashisha Yidi, Yakei Kwasatini, Kat Kwek, Yuhat Duasak, Chak Nahatsati, Yanye Diayahut, Yan Hitach Hayahut, Taku Kwandach Hayahut, Nekhari Yadi Ayahut, English, Ka Scottish, Ka Irish, Dakan Ayahut, Nishka Hasati. So good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Justin Jones. My Tlingit name is Hut Kwek. I'm Tlingit Haida Simshan out of Southeast Alaska, born and raised in Juneau, Alaska. I have a Bachelor's of Science degree in Engineering Physics from Whitworth University in Spokane, Washington, and a Master's of Science degree in Kinesiology with a specialization in biomechanics from the Pennsylvania State University. And really, with this intro, how I got into the work and why I'm so passionate about movement. I furthered my education by getting a personal training certification from the American College of Sports Medicine. And with that, just trying to get everyone active and being a health educator and promoting physical activity. And so with that in mind, today we're going to be doing some stretching and then hopefully get you moving and have some fun with the Native Youth Olympics team later from Juneau, Alaska virtual videos. So really for me, it comes down to why do I move? Why am I active? I believe running is fun. I've been running since I was in first grade, you know, running with my dog and running with my parents and getting outside and really being on the go. So I strongly believe that running is something I enjoy doing. Why do I run? Why do I move? I want to get faster. I've been running competitively since high school and college, cross country and track, and I started running marathons. And so I want to get faster. I want to someday qualify for the Boston Marathon. So I'm moving, I'm active because I want to become faster and get better at my sports. Why do I move? I move because I want to lower my risk of heart disease and diabetes. So that health component, better sleep. I know from my family history that I have a higher incidence of heart disease, type 2 diabetes. So being active and moving helps my health status that way. Why do I move? I want to connect with nature. I grew up in Southeast Alaska, so being in the mountains, being amongst the trees, being next to the shoreline, feeling the wind, and listening to the birds as you're going. So that's my way to connect with nature. Why do I move? I want to clear my mind. I want to be in the moment. I want to truly be present in what I'm doing with. It's a massive stress reducer for me. So really able to connect, the holistic approach on everything. So why I give this introduction is I really want us to think about, why are you moving and what are you doing? So another thing that we connect with is those traditional activities. So when I'm taking a break from running, I might go hiking, I might go fishing, I might go biking, and really coming down to focusing on what we're doing that our ancestors did. So the pictures here is a dip netter. On the left is my dad with a long, 10-foot long pole, dipping in, scooping in the river, trying to get salmon. Also here we have me going after a fish. So really thinking about how our ancestors were active, they were mobile, they were moving all the time. So this is something that is not new to us. We're an active people, and it's reconnecting with those types of things that is very important for us all to realize. Some other ideas of what we're doing when we're the traditional activities: kayaking, canoeing. Southeast Alaska has tons of canals and rivers and ocean space. And so that transportation relied on massive hand-carved canoes. Up North Alaska, you're having like traditional kayaks. So connecting with those activities is really important to understand that we are an active people. Here on the right is the one picture maybe of me berry picking. So when you're going up a mountainside, balancing on a rock, dangling from a branch, the activity, the stress that you have to put your body through to go up and find that good ripe berry patch when you're looking for salmon berries or blueberries. So reconnecting with these traditional activities is super important. And that's what I'm starting to realize too, is it takes time, and understand that our ancestors had to be active when they're navigating their surroundings. So I just want to take a moment and pause. And if you want to chat on Facebook or in the comments here, what do you do? Why do you move? I like to run, doesn't mean you have to run. The biggest thing for movement is finding something you enjoy. So that's being outside, if that's going to the gym, if that's yoga or weightlifting, if that's soccer, sports, you name it. If you enjoy it, that's what you want to be doing. So there's different recommendations that people give of trying to get 5 days a week or 3 days of strength and cardio exercise for 150 minutes. For me, it comes down to, are you moving? Are you moving your body? Are you moving your arms? Are you moving your legs? Are you moving most time during the day, taking breaks from sedentary activities? So it comes down to just find something you enjoy doing, move outside if and when you can, and when you're ready, move more. The best exercise is the exercise that you enjoy. Being active, moving your body, if it's Zumba, if it's dance, finding a way just to reconnect with that physical activity that we're all lacking, but looking to add into our lives. So really connecting with a sense of perseverance and resiliency. Speaking with elders, we've talked about what it's taken for us to get to this point and understand that in a time frame, our ancestors have been thriving and living on this land since the dawn of time, since time immemorial. So take a moment to pause and think about, where did your ancestors live? For me, it's in a mountainside, and they're going over raggedy cliffs, and they're going over raging rivers and traversing wild glacial areas and canoeing on the ocean from village to village. So that requires immense amount of activity. So take a moment and think about where your ancestors are coming from. What did they have to do to survive? How did they live off the land? So here, this picture is, if you can imagine, trying to go over peaks and valleys and climbing for hours upon hours, looking for food, looking for something to hunt, whether it's mountain goat or a bear, or a deer, that our ancestors were active, they were resilient, and they found ways to make things thrive. So they traveled great distances and changing climate and seasons. You live in a rainforest. How do you build shelter? How do you find food when it's raining and snowing and the winds are howling down? So understand that we are coming from a background of a great amount of perseverance, that we have this strength inside of us as um, indigenous people, that our ancestors lived on this land, thrived on this land, and have a great connection to it. And with that comes a lot of power and a lot of strength. The idea of strength comes in with our Southeast Alaska tribal values. So roughly 20 years ago or so, the Tlingit Haida tribe got together, a group of 20 or 30 elders or so, and discussed what makes us unique and what makes us Southeast Alaska natives. So some of the ideas were respect for nature and holding each other up. So respecting nature, we're the stewards of the land, sea, and air, that we're a part of this world, and we must respect the food that's given to us and thank the trees and the air for all that they provide us, holding each other up. So what that means is that we work together, we work as a community, that when you're paddling a canoe, you're not doing it by yourself, but if it's this 20, 30-foot canoe, you have 10, 20 people paddling with you. When you're hunting a whale, it takes a whole big group of people to pull that out of the water. So we're holding each other up. If my relative or friend is struggling next to me, that I'm taking time to provide them a lending hand. Because I know if I do that for them, I expect that will happen to me if I'm struggling down the line. Another tribal value is be strong and have courage. And with that being strong, it's be strong in mind, body, and spirit. So this idea that we're the holistic approach. I talked about my connection to running and how I'm able to strengthen, clear my mind and think more clear. I'm able to strengthen my body, my lungs, my muscles, and I'm able to strengthen my spirit. I feel alive, I feel connected. And so this idea that we're able to approach life in this mind, body, spirit. Latseen is that term. So that L is a little tricky there. Latseen is the idea of strength. And we'll dive down into this a little bit in a second here, but this idea of strength meaning more than just lifting heavy objects. So when we worked with our youth in some after school programs, we'd ask them, what do you think we mean by strength? And what does that look like to you? And they might draw a muscly person or doing push-ups. So is strength lifting heavy objects? My cousin can say he can bench press 250 pounds. That's strong. But is that the only definition or idea of this mind, body, spirit, Latseen strength? Maybe you're having a tough day and just getting out of bed takes that extra amount of energy, and just to dig a little bit deeper, find that strength to face the day head on, knowing that it's going to be a long one if you miss sleep or if you know something's going to stress you out sooner than later. That strength to get out of bed sometimes is a lot for some of us, all of us, more often than not. Is strength helping your friend or family member, lending that hand, holding each other up? What are your skills and how can you help the person in need? Asking for help is a sign of strength. If you're stubborn or if you're very headstrong in what you want to be doing, but knowing your limits and the limitations of what's going on, having that strength to ask for help, and then taking care of others before yourself. So this idea of strength, that I put you before my own needs, that my dad will cook dinner and fold the laundry. My mom's busy in the day. This idea that you're helping each other before yourself. So this idea of Latseen is not just being able to do something with power and with great force, but this idea that you're all-encompassing mind, body, spirit, that you're balanced and you have that strength to move forward and to just do good in this world. So the next question, again, share it in the chat or share it in the Zoom chats. Pause and think to yourself, how do you live Latseen? What strength do you have every day? What areas do you need Latseen assistance? Where do you need help? So I think just pausing and thinking about what does Latseen look like and mean to you? What is that strength that you have every day? Now, with that being said, we're going to try and do a warm up here. We talked about moving. I've been talking, 10, 15 minutes or so, but we want to find a way to get our bodies moving and to really get warmed up for that Native Youth Olympics that we have coming up that I've teased a couple times here. So what we're going to do is just get our head and neck warmed up. Maybe you've been Zooming all day and you're tired. So what I do with my elders is really start slow. And so it's take that breath and just focus on what's going on, be present. How are you feeling today? Is something tight? Is something sore? Are you feeling great? Have you been active all day? We need to slow things down, but taking that breath to slow it down, slow myself down here, just to see how we're present, what we're doing, and how we're feeling, and prep our body for any work that we're about to do. So let me get my headphones set here. But we're going to just lean back and look at the sky. Then we're going to tilt our chin down. Look at your toes. I always joke with my elders when we're looking down, are your feet, are your shoes on the right feet? Are your buckles buckled and your shoes tied? Are you missing any toes? Look up again. Really getting the motion going in our neck. Looking down again. Come back up. We're going to tilt our chin to the right. Just get the shoulder, your neck warmed up to the right. Now we're going to swing it back to the left. One more time to your right. Really warm that neck up. You've been hunched over looking at your device. Maybe you've been reading your book all day. Back to the left. Stretch it out. Bring it back to the middle. Breathe in, breathe out. You can close your eyes for the next part if you want. I like to. You don't have to. We're going to do 5 slow clockwise neck circles. So there is 1 click. We're going to do 2 days. Nask. Dakun. Here comes number 5. And K-Jin. We're going to go counterclockwise. Same idea. Click, take, nask. Here is click. Dech. Nask. Your neck's probably feeling nice and limber now. Dakun. One more for K-Jin circles. Counterclockwise. Now we like to do is shrug your shoulders up like you're Frankenstein and drop them. Maybe I did a little too hard there. 1 slow up and slow down. Dech. Nask. Dakun. And K-Jin. Yeah, K-Jin to Ki. So we're going to do shoulder rolls backwards for 1. Click. Dech. Nask. Dakun. K-Jin. There we go. 5. You can roll it out if you want to. Think of how hunched over you might be on your laptop. You're not supposed to, but you might be. I know I am. So we're going to go forward now. We'll open up those shoulders for Clay. Dech. Nask. dakun. Okay, Jin, your shoulders are ready to go. If you want, you can even swim it out, swim it back, swim it forward. We're going to reach high now. Get the shoulders up and your hands down. Tough to do it on Zoom. I'm hitting my little ceiling here, but find a nice slow space. 4, I think that was 4. And one more for Jin. Your shoulders, your arms are feeling great. I have a little tight space here, but if you can even go backwards. We're going to swim backwards for Klek, Dech, Nusk, Dakun, and Jin. We're going backwards. Let's swim forwards for Klek, Dech, Nusk, Dakun, Jin. There we go. Jin to key high five. Nice job. So our shoulders are feeling good. Our neck is warmed up. We can twist to your left. If you have a chair or a table, you can kind of lean against that to help twist off to your back. So I always, when I do this, my elders would be driving a car and you got to check your blind spot. So you got to turn around and check your blind spot, make sure no one's on your right. Slowly go off to your left. You got to check that blind spot. One more time to our right. And to our left. So we're feeling pretty good. Neck, shoulders, got some core twists in there. What else can we do? One thing that we did on Elders Fitness was just sit to stand. So the best way to kind of think about your squats is if you're sitting in a chair and you just stand right up. So you can sit back down. I don't have a chair close by. You can see my head disappear, but we're going to just stand up. Get the legs going in there. Sit back down and stand up, because I know coming up, we're going to really have to use our legs for NYO. So making sure that our body is prepped, ready to go. We're not stressing ourselves out too much. Our body is prepped for movement. Let's do one more sit to stand. And there we go. Cool. So legs are going. You want to shake out your legs a little bit if you're standing up. I'm standing up because I have a standing desk. That's a savior throughout the day. Get myself off the chair. So you can wiggle your legs, get some ankle circles in there. Right leg, get that rolling about 5 times. Nice and slow with your ankle. Left ankle, roll that one 5 times. Now I'm just moving fast. We'll slow it down here. So I'm very excited for the NYO team demonstration. Kyle Whirl, I'll introduce here in a second, does a lot of great things getting Native students in Southeast Alaska and Alaska-wide active and in a team environment. And I'll describe that more, but I'm super excited here. Just making sure that our bodies are ready. One more thing, I think it's a good idea to kind of make sure that our hips are ready to go. So if you want to just lean forward a little bit, you can go towards your toes if you're standing up. If you're sitting down, reaching down, lower back, and you can stand back up. One more time down and stand up. Okay, so now it's going to come down to figuring out how we're going to do this, because I need to share a video with you. Back to screen share. Believe everything is good to go now with our NYO demonstration. So our traditional game athletes, and so like I said, this is in all of Alaska is now participating in traditional games, and NYO, the Native Youth Olympics team in Juneau, is very active and spreading. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to watch some of these Native athletes and we're going to give them a try and see what we can handle. And they're about 2 to 3 minute clips. And so again, bear with me with the technology to make sure that everything's working out okay. So really though, we're making sure that, do I discuss Kyle? Let's make sure. Oh, missed one. So traditional games coach, let's introduce Kyle before I just jump into a video. So Kyle Whirl, Kyle Kayahu Whirl is Alaska Native. He currently lives in Juneau, Alaska, and he's the Juneau Native Youth Olympics coach. And so, his traditional games he's going to describe to us. There's a great history behind these games, prepping for hunting and making sure these hunters are ready and their bodies are ready for when they're hunting seal or when they're trying to catch fish, that they can endure pain, that they can work together as a team. So there's different events that encompass traditional games. And I think the coolest part with them is that you're competing against yourself. You're not competing against other athletes. You're not trying to talk down to someone, that you're lifting each other up, that you're all working together to see, your friend do their best and that you do your best and that you're trying to find a new personal record, a new PR in each event. And so Kyle does a great job of really living those traditional values and finding ways to get youth connected to that and to Alaska Native culture. So Kyle works in the Juneau School District as an educator, teaching Tlingit classes, youth after school study halls, as well as the Native Youth Olympics league that's going on in Juneau. And it's really expanded southeast wide, up and down all the island communities. They're going up to Anchorage and Fairbanks. Kyle and his team are actually coming to the Midwest. I know if you're in Green Bay and Milwaukee, NYO is coming there, I believe, next weekend. So if you're looking to get demonstrations from some real pros, they'll be in the lower 48 and the upper Midwest. I believe it's July 10th to the 16th. And maybe you've recognized Kyle from the American Ninja Warrior in a Men's Health feature article. So he competed in the American Ninja Warrior with the Eskimo Ninja. So Native Youth Olympics is very big, and being active in these traditional games has spread all throughout the state. We have our own celebrities. We're doing a lot of cool things with our NYO. So let's find that video. Bear with me again as I find out how we get this going.
What we'll do here is watch videos and give it a try, see what you can do. So Kyle's going to talk to us about these events, and they're going to demonstrate how to participate and try. So clear out some room, find some space in your house, and let's check out the first one here with the seal hop.
As the hunter gazed out onto the sea ice, he spots a group of seals in the distance. But how will the hunter get close enough to the seals to be in range of a harpoon strike without scaring them back into the ocean? This is the origin of the seal hop.
Hi, my name's Caitlin, and I'm going to show you how to do the seal hop.
For the junior seal hop, get into an upper push-up position, starting with your fingers behind a line and hopping on your hands and toes. For the high school version, start in a lower push-up position. Fingers are curled in at the first knuckle. Arms are at your side, and the body is held in this plank position as you hop, with no part of your body touching the floor except your hands and toes. The seal hop mimics the motion of a seal hopping on ice and allowed the hunters to sneak up to the seal without scaring it back into the ocean. At the Native Youth Olympics, athletes compete for the furthest distance in the seal hop, pushing their bodies to go as far as they can without stopping. This takes many months of practice. Now it's your turn. Try the seal hop at home with your family.
So we have the seal hop. Let's take a second, see how that goes. Kyle, I believe, can go 2 lengths of the basketball court on his knuckles. So they're hopping up and down, pushing off with their toes, incredible distances, and his knuckles are scarred up, and just he's doing knuckle push-ups to make sure he's ready for this seal hop. Now that's one of his favorite, one of my favorites is the 2-foot kick.
For thousands of years, the Inupiaq people have hunted the bowhead whale. Upon a successful hunt, they would send one of their hunters back towards the village. Once in sight of the village, the hunter would jump and kick both feet up in the air as high as possible. This would signal a successful hunt. The villagers would then come out and support the hunters in pulling in the whale. This is the origin of the 2-foot high kick. Hi, I'm Coach Kyle, and I'm going to show you how to do the 2-foot high kick. Let's first start by standing in front of the ball and measuring. The string should be right at our wrist. This is a good distance. So from here, I'm going to jump and kick the ball with both feet. And keep my balance. Once you've learned how to do the 2-foot high kick, keep practicing. The more you practice, the higher you can kick. Make sure after kicking the ball to always land and keep your balance. You can hop with both feet to catch your balance. Watch here as I kick. I'm going to do my best to keep my feet together, side by side, nice and even, just like that. And again, landing on my feet, keeping my balance. That is the 2-foot high kick. Now let's watch Elizabeth be cheered on by her friends as she does the 2-foot high kick. In the Native games, we always support each other, cheer on our fellow athletes, and make new friendships. This is part of the spirit of the games. Hunters had to work together to be successful. And so in the Native games, we show good sportsmanship. Our Native games are done across the Arctic, from here in Alaska and to Canada and all the way to Greenland. Tony lives in Greenland and he practices the Native games. Let's watch Tony do the 2-foot high kick. Nice kick, Tony. Tony also taught his daughter how to do the 2-foot high kick. Now it's your turn. Try the 2-foot high kick at home with your family.
So it looks like maybe the videos are going a little bit stuttery. Let me try one thing here for a couple more. We'll do
For thousands of years, the Inupiaq people have created games to be played during the long winter months. These games kept the hunters healthy and fit, and they were often played indoors inside the traditional kargi, which were the underground homes. Let's learn about one of those games.
Hi, I'm Coach Patrice. I'm going to show you how to do the Alaskan high kick.
To get in position for the Alaskan high kick, start by sitting like Patrice with your legs out leaning on your hands. Step 1, bring in one leg and lay it on the floor. Step 2, bring forward the hand on the same side as your straight leg and place it on your knee. Next, slide that hand over to your foot and grab your foot from the top or the bottom. Patrice is taking an overhand grip. Next, your straight leg, you're going to pull it in towards your body and lift your body off the ground on your hand and your foot. This is how you get in position for the Alaskan high kick. Now, let's see Patrice show us the Alaskan high kick. The native games are played in many places. Let's visit Chaz. Chaz is 4 years old and lives on an island in the Bering Sea. Here's his village of Savunga. Chaz likes to play the Alaskan high kick, and he's going to use his toy football to make a kicking ball. Good kick, Chaz. Now let's visit Arnold in Góok. Arnold likes to practice the native games too. Let's watch Arnold do the Alaskan high kick. Nice kick, Arnold. For our last trip, let's go all the way to Nuuk, Greenland, and visit Bent. Here comes Bent running down the beach. Bent has a sealskin ball. Let's watch Bent do the Alaskan high kick. Great kick, Bent. Let's watch Coach Patrice do the Alaskan high kick one more time. Good kick, Coach Patrice. Now it's your turn. Try the Alaskan high kick at home with your family. Thanks for watching.
So we have a couple kicks in there. We have the seal hop. Now let's see what you do to prep if you need to get a fish.
Let's learn the Dene stick pull. Every summer, the rivers bring salmon to the Dene and Athabascan people. There are many different Dene people living in Alaska and Canada, but for all of us, the salmon is sacred. This is Steve. He lives in Alakakit and fishes every summer to feed his growing family. He is very skilled at catching and drying salmon, but did you know he also has very strong grip for pulling in his nets and grabbing slippery salmon? We are going to learn a game to build the grip needed to pull in a slippery salmon. The Dene stick pull. To start, you'll either need some fat or lotion and a tapered wooden dowel. Athletes stand facing opposite directions with their inside feet side by side. The dowel will then be greased and placed below the athlete's hands. Once the official says grip, they can grip at the same time, waiting for the official's call to say go. For round 2, the athletes will turn around and use their other hand. If there is a tie, athletes can play rock, paper, scissors, and the winner gets to choose the gripping hand for the tie-breaking round. Athletes can show good sportsmanship with an elbow bumper handshake. Here are a few rules. Ready, grip. If the hand slides upon grip, the hand cannot be adjusted until after the official says go. If an athlete crosses a black line upon gripping, the official will need to reset the stick. Falling over, moving the feet, or pivoting the foot are all considered automatic losses. However, lifting the heel or toe, but returning to the same footprint is allowable. Also, winning the stick before moving the foot is still considered a win. Lastly, athletes cannot shove, leverage using their elbow or shoulder, or their leg, and they cannot bring the stick above the tallest person's shoulder. You can win the stick by pulling, twisting, wiggling, pushing, or even jerking. With practice, you'll have enough grip to catch a salmon with your bare hands.
So Kyle's very interested in sharing any items you may need, any tips you might need, further details. We'll do one more before we wrap things up. Let's go.
Since time immemorial, the Inupiaq people have hunted the seal and given thanks for the food it provides for our families, the skins for clothing, and the blubber for oil lamps. Hunters in search of the seal would go out on the sea ice and look for a seal's breathing hole. Patiently, they would wait for the seal to emerge its head, and quickly the hunter would harpoon the seal. The hunter's harpoon was made of driftwood, bone, and seal skin. And at the end of this harpoon was a sharp toggle head attached by a sinew line to the center of the harpoon shaft. The origin of our next game trains hunters for the strength needed to pull a seal from its breathing hole. Now, let's learn the Inuit stick pull. Line the stick right above the toes. Ready, pull. Pull, 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 pull. Don't let go, use all your strength. Nice job, okay. Setting up for the Inuit stick pull is easy. Start by placing the soles of your feet together. Next, choose a grip, inside or outside. Make sure to switch grips each round. Now before we play, let's learn a few rules. No jerking on the stick, twisting the stick, re-gripping the stick, and you must keep your balance. Let's watch Derek do the Inuit stick pull at the Native Youth Olympics. Derek is challenging Haley in the red. Nice job, Derek. Here's Derek again. Go. Good pull. Derek would make a good seal hunter.
So again, thanks for trying this out. We went quick there, so if you have further questions, let us know. I know Kyle's always looking to hear about how people are engaging with the Native Youth Olympics. So give it a try, see what happens with your seal hop, or maybe you're gonna work on your 2-foot kick and you can use a tennis ball on the string or maybe you have a low-hanging branch that you can jump onto. But let us know how you're doing. Give it a try. And Kejindaki, high five, Klikudzi, awesome job. So share your pictures with us or your videos on the ACAF Facebook page. If you're tech savvy and looking to get a video uploaded, find us on Instagram and take us there. Or I know Coach Kyle would love to see anyone attempting some of the NYO games, asking questions and engaging. And we have his Instagram handle there, kyle.whirl, and he is very active in terms of that engagement. Again, if you're looking to learn more, find some information about what other games are available, when the events are held, contact myself or Kyle and all our emails here in a second. But find ways to engage with traditional activities, I think, is super important. So, maybe NYO is too much of a struggle. Even in NYO, they have events for elders with a walk-up kick. You walk up your little grandma and she can kick as high as she can at a seal fur ball hanging, a couple of feet off the ground. And so always find ways to engage the littlest ones to our oldest ones. And so what traditional activity do you have to share? Let us know some of your favorite games. And like I said, Kyle would love to connect with you in terms of outreaching to find demonstrations or any NYO kits. So if you're looking for some of the sticks, or if you want your own kicking stand, Kyle is always available to answer those questions. So Gunushchish, Suye Ikwasatin, see you soon. Thank you very much for taking the time today to move a little bit, stretch, and learn more about the Native Youth Olympics. And if you have, like I said, questions, I can be reached here at jjones@acaf.org. Kyle Whirl is at kyle.whirl@gmail.com. So again, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Get outside, find a way to move. We appreciate the time. Thank you very much.